We are recording.
We are. Hold on for 1 second if you don't mind, folks. Kevin is recording with his. I'm going to try to do the backup here on Zoom. Let's see.
Oh, I forgot about that. I better look at my suit on just a minute.
All right. So the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board work session agenda. In response to COVID-19, the Town Board is once again using a hybrid model for our Town Board meeting tonight. The adaptive practice came from the advice of the Association of Towns and also in conversations with our town attorney, but we are doing this in the interest of public health. This meeting tonight is going to be called to order at 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Michael Cashman.
Present.
Thomas Wood.
I'm here somewhere.
Meg Bobbin.
Here.
Barbara Hebert.
Here.
Charles Costick.
Here.
James Coffey.
Here.
And I am present.
Perfect. At this time, I want to acknowledge Wendell Hughes, one of our county legislators. It's been nice to see you popping up from time to time and staying in contact with us. Is there anything that you would like to provide during the public comments portion of our meeting, Wendell?
No, just thanks. I stopped down, I saw Mayor Openquist today, and I'm, just real excited about our future.
Perfect. Always good to see you.
We talked about you a little bit, so hopefully everything gets,
There's the
it's
ski.
all positive.
There's
At
the,
least you can talk about the rest of us. Okay.
my ears were definitely ringing a bit. So, well, thank you for being here tonight. Just in short for my report, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's businesses. As I had put out earlier in the year, earlier in the week, we did have a positive case here at the town. People are doing okay, but we continue to follow our COVID-19 safety plan and go through a number of measures. We canvassed the board to ensure how they felt about doing some of the business, so that's why we're using this hybrid model today. But a couple of things that I want to just touch upon as it relates to COVID-19 and the greater impact to our community right now is we continue to see significant numbers in our community. And it does not discriminate at all. And we all have to continue to be very vigilant. And for ourselves, for our team members here at the town, for our community at large, our family members, and we need to just continue to redouble our efforts. And I want to thank our Town of Plattsburgh team members because even through all of the challenges, they have stepped up in many ways to meet the challenges, and they've been really good sports about it. And I think it's important to know that because we're all getting some COVID fatigue, right? I mean, it's just, it's tiresome. I know, Chuck, in your role in particular, stuff that you're doing. So, some good with the bad. In addition to the numbers rising, the impact to the hospital has been pretty significant. Not just the COVID patients, but they're having a lot of their staff members that have been either quarantined or in isolation. So that has an impact on our healthcare network as a overall unit as well. So I just remind people that this is why we all have to be part of the solution, is we need to protect our healthcare system. Some positive news is the town of Plattsburgh has been selected as a New York State site for vaccination. They are going to be standing up a site at the county, the Plattsburgh International Airport, the county airport campus in the coming days into next week. We are very excited about that, to have that here. But it also, we need to remind ourselves and also the community at large, is that we're in this for the long haul still, right? We're still many, many weeks from this event being over with, which is going to continue us to require to use face masks, social distancing, hand sanitizing, etc. And I just say this because I think it's important for people to understand that while the vaccine is the vehicle for us to, kind of move forward and together, it is still a long road. And many people are gonna need to get the vaccination over the period of time. I personally will, just speaking, I plan to get the vaccine when it's my time. I strongly would encourage all of you to do the same, and hope you feel comfortable in the science. So without editorializing anymore, I do want to jump into,
I would, but just the point,
Yep.
you still have to sign up, before you can't go right down there and get.
No, you will have to, that's a great question, Tom. You will have to pre-register. We are still awaiting some more details as to how that space in particular will be facilitated. And that information will be rolling out in, short time, I would imagine. But I think it's very good for us. So for the packet tonight, it is a work session. We do have draft minutes. We do have draft monthly reports. We do have a couple items because we're kind of in that weird place still in the year where we're trying to get some stuff kind of on the tracks. We have a resolution for.
Are we going through these in order, the draft minutes?
We can, yeah.
I'm concerned, and it's not a big deal, but my name is put as Tom E. Wood on all, and everything else is Thomas E. Wood.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the documents for the city, when we did the annexation, those two resolutions, they put Tom E. Wood. I don't mind, everybody called me Tom, but you've always had Thomas E. on any of the resolutions that we passed in the past for the last, I don't know, 20 years, 70 years.
Are you talking about the resolutions for the city that we passed and stamped? So those were prepared by special counsel, so it wasn't an issue, Tom or Thomas, for that name is still fine, so they've been certified in the vote, so you're okay with that.
I just want to make sure,
Yep.
because I thought that was one of the more important ones.
Yep. Okay, let me go back. Sorry, I got a whole bunch of packet of information here. If we can go to the resolution, annual examination of the town fiscal records by the audit committee. I'll have Kevin read it.
Whereas the town board is responsible for the general management and control of the town finances, as cited in town law, section 64, subdivision 1, an important aspects of this responsibility is to provide a process to monitor and review on a routine basis the work performed by those who handle money as part of their town duties. And whereas in an effort to improve accountability and controls over finances and records in the town auditing committee and finance manager has reviewed the 2020 records of the town clerk, the town justices, recreation and town tax receiver as per regulation. Whereas the town clerks, town justices, recreation and town tax receivers records have been provided to the full board for their review, and whereas a review of town records has been prepared and is highly presented to the town board for their review and approval, now therefore be it resolved that the annual audit as prepared and submitted by the town of Plattsburgh Auditing Committee be accepted and placed on file as per regulation.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Bostic. For discussion, I just want to first thank our auditing members. I didn't bump into Chuck, but I know he was involved, but I saw Barb spending a considerable amount of time going through and making sure that everything was there, so thank you for doing that personally. So,
Thanks, Michael. It's been the goal over the last 3 years to try to get this audit scheduled as early as possible. It creeps right into the first part of the year.
Yep.
But I think we've been at least a week ahead of time in our resolution passing the final audit prepared, so
Perfect.
thanks to Pat.
I was gonna say, I'd like to pass along thanks to Pat also, for the work that he puts in. Did a lot of work to organize and do some auditing, so excellent job again by Pat.
And just as a somewhat of a side, the other audit that we do with, I think it's the RFPG group, it is coming. So, and because of, again, COVID, we're gonna be doing some stuff through electronic means, et cetera. So, you know, this is just one of the many things that we do to make sure that we continue to be in a good position. So, can I get a roll call for this one, please?
Thomas E. Wood,
Yes.
Meg Bauman,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution does carry. Resolution 17, reappointment of Herb Carpenter to the Finance Committee.
Whereas the town board passed resolution 14-183 authorizing the formation of a finance committee to improve accountability and controls over finances and accounts and to play an advisory role to the town supervisor, town board, and finance manager. And whereas Mr. Herb Carpenter, a resident of the town who possesses skills and experience with finance and financial systems, is willing to serve as a member of the finance committee, therefore be it resolved that the town of Plattsburgh Town Board does hereby reappoint Mr. Carpenter to the finance committee for a 3-year term to expire on 12/31/2023, effective immediately, and be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be given to Mr. Carpenter and the finance manager, and be it further resolved that he take an oath of office within 30 days of this resolution, and the supervisor send a letter of appointment and appreciation to Mr. Carpenter.
Is there a motion?
So,
Bobbin, and is there a second?
Second?
Wood, any discussion? I would just thank him for his service, and also I want to thank Barb too for being on this group. She's been a great representative in keeping up with working with the finance committee, so thank you for that, Barb.
You're welcome, just taking Meg's legacy forward.
That's a wonderful committee.
Isn't it?
Really good people.
Good group of concerned citizens that really ask good questions.
Can I know we're doing a little bit more roll call. I just want to make sure that things are recorded accurately, because sometimes there's reverberation on these things, and I'm seeing a little bit of a lag on my end, so I will ask for a roll call.
Thomas E. Wood,
Yes.
Meg Bauman,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution does carry. Resolution 18, reappointment of Robert Miller to the Finance Committee.
Whereas the town board passed resolution 14-183 authorizing the formation of a finance committee to improve accountability and controls over finances and accounts, and to play an advisory role to the town supervisor, town board, and finance manager. And whereas Mr. Robert Miller, a resident of the town who possesses skills and experience with finance and financial systems, is willing to serve as a member of the finance committee. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Plattsburgh Town Board does hereby reappoint Mr. Miller to the finance committee for a 4-year term to expire 12/31/2024, effective immediately, and be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be given to Mr. Miller and the finance manager, and be it further resolved that he take an oath of office within 30 days of this resolution, and the supervisor send a letter of appointment and appreciation to Mr. Miller.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Caustic, is there any discussion?
I'd just like to thank Barbara for doing so much work and research and getting all these dates correct and the terms correct.
Thank you. All right, a roll call, please.
Thomas E. Wood,
Yes.
Meg Bauman,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 19, COE engage to waiting to engage model.
Whereas the town board seeks to formalize an engage to waiting to be engaged model for the code enforcement officers, and whereas the town is engaged, the Association of Towns, Ronnie Travers of Public Sector HR Consultants LLC, our HR specialists during the development of this model, resolved an attached engaged to waiting to be engaged model for the code enforcement officers to be approved for 2021, and the finance manager be authorized to execute the impacted areas. effective January 18th, 2021. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, a copy of this resolution be put in the personnel file of Stephen Imhoff, Alan Reese, and Drew Arthur.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, is there a second?
Second.
Bobbin. Discussion. I'd just like to provide just a little bit of an overview is, and I want to thank Chuck. We've been having some conversation in regards to this particular model with our codes officers and as it relates very much in particular for the fire marshal type duties and response. This is something that was really kind of a holdover to even some portions of conversations as it related to the salary calibration, as far as roles and responsibilities, in particular to a non-union group of our town personnel. So this is a model. It will be a pilot really, for lack of better terms, to see how it is working. And that we will begin to track data and report back out as we get into next year, as we get into the budget season for next year, to see what's working, what isn't working, and make further calibrations that may result in additional models or policies. So, all right.
I just have a question.
Sure.
The accuracy of the resolution?
Yeah.
Hear me okay? Is it CEO or COE? I apologize to colleagues, I haven't been able to.
It should be Codes Enforcement Officer.
CEO?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is this the one that we had 3 different models and we picked the number 1 model for?
Correct.
Discussed it. And I thought that when we discussed it, that there was going to be pay for people when they had to leave their home and go out, but that phone calls wouldn't get the
Correct.
pay
That's
hours. And it doesn't say anywhere in this
the change in that has been adjusted, Tom. So the waiting code officer will receive a minimum of 3 hours and time and a half for comp time and a half for any call that is requested and required. That really is the holdover for what was already there. The 2 biggest adjustments that this model is representative is a $100 weekly stipend for the codes enforcement officer, and is only for the individual that is on call. So not all codes enforcement officers are receiving this, only the person that is on call. The other thing that the individual is going to be doing is they will be carrying a pager, and as Chuck from his experience with fire services, it's a lot easier for the Office of Emergency Management and 911 service to do a dispatch through a pager service than it is through a cellular service, because they can do like a click and drop type process. So those accommodations have been made. Yep.
So when it says any call, that doesn't mean they get a phone call, they answer it over the phone.
No,
and they
it's
don't go out.
it's a call out. It's a call out.
Because it doesn't say that, and I just wanted to make sure, at least on the paper that I
And we're also going to be having them do a track log for things. So, and this is why we're doing it as a model. It's not a policy this year, it is a model, so that we can get better information to see where we want to go with this in the future. It really, a lot of conversations with, Ronnie and AOT and stuff, codes officers in some areas are a county position. It's very different, and it's not to say that, townships and villages and cities don't have them, but there's so many different models out there, you really have to do a lot of defining, and this is step 1 into either retaining the model we have or changing it to something that we need, more data points for.
I thought this was the best model that we had, and that we should go with it. I just wasn't clear about the phone,
Yep.
the phone being.
No.
Yeah, I think it's vital that we take this step, our codes officers, if you look at the diversity of facilities, buildings, et cetera, that they cover, and there's no other area in the county that has the type of responsibility as far as a code enforcement officer that we have.
Yep.
And I think it's vital, and I mean, case in point, I was at a fire on New Year's Day, with Drew at the Comfort Inn in Perkins. So, I mean, they get called out on a wide variety of calls, and I think this is a real good first step, to kind of get them up to the level that they should be.
We're very, very lucky to have, three individuals who work so hard in that area, because there's so much to do, and they have to go out. I mean, it's just regular duties are enough, and then all the extras.
You're absolutely right, Tom. In particular, during the events of COVID-19, they have even taken on more responsibilities with the New York State pause compliance orders. So we have some of the best in the business. I really do believe that. I know that all of you join me in that thought. But we're fortunate to have Steve's longevity and expertise. I mean, he's been involved in his professional association and pulled that knowledge back into the group, and Alan and Drew has been just a quick study of things, and has really embedded himself in the fire departments. Would you agree, Chuck?
Well, I would agree, and COVID kind of threw a barrier up, obviously. He was well underway with that, and I think once we're over the speed bump, he definitely is gonna take that much further.
And I should say, though, that we have to be careful not to have a county legislator here. We don't want to praise them too much. They're not that great employees, really. We pay them, but,
I don't think the county wants to take over Code's program. So with that said, can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas E. Wood,
Yes.
Meg Bobbin,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes, resolution does carry. A nice quick transition, not something to vote on tonight, but there is a request to attend the annual Codes Enforcement Education Conference. I will remind people that what we did in regards to some of our budgetary path forward is that we were not going to support travel for conferences and things, knowing that really that most conferences were going to go online, right, if there was. But individuals that have certain requirements, Codes has annual training that they have. So this is something that they are getting prepared for, and they will be participating in a web-based conference. This is something that they need for their continuing ed. So just keep that in mind for draft. In a similar fashion, and this is the first step of the next, and I may very likely peer a resolution after I have a couple moments to sit down and look at the Association of Towns conference materials. It too will be going online, and I know some people have already expressed an interest in participating in AOT, so I will canvass you folks again more formally, and we will make appropriate registrations for AOT. But there is a delegate process, so that's what this resolution is for, okay?
For the Association of Towns, was the cost of attending by Zoom going to be equivalent to costs?
No, it's I believe it's less expensive, but well, if you actually kind of divide it out, because I think the conference costs, it's not looking at that, but the hotels alone, right? We're not going down on Amtrak, we're not doing the buses, we're not staying in the hotels. There's a considerable amount of cost savings there, which is good. The other part to it is I'm hoping that because of the means by which of doing it online, that some of you may be able to partake in a way that you may not have been able to if it was not online, right?
That's the things I was wondering about.
Yeah, so again, I do apologize, I will canvass you more formally about registration in the next couple of days, so that will be there. I'm not as concerned about it because it's online, we don't have to worry about getting train tickets and hotels and stuff, so, but Deborah was poking at me on that one, so, I took the finger in the rib, and it's in the packet as kind of a holdover, so. The next is a resolution that supports the recreation program. We have a carryover, and it is from the Clinton County Youth Bureau for some allocations of funds, so we want to be able to make sure to take advantage of those funds as well.
I had a question on those too.
Yep.
We're signing a contract because we're getting these funds.
Yep.
But it says that we're going to provide basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, swim program. And I'm wondering, with COVID and with the fact that we couldn't do this last year, can we guarantee that we'll be able to follow this contract?
So that's a really great question, Tom. If you look at, I'm happy to inform the Clinton County Youth Bureau allocating the following for the 2020 New York State office. This is a carryover, and there was accommodations made because of COVID-19 already. So this is
We can't provide baseball or something.
Right.
We provide one of them, but I looked at these, some of them are we wouldn't really have.
right, and this really has an opportunity for a shuffle of the deck. It's more of programs and services, and I believe, Bang and Chuck, do you have a rec committee coming up soon?
The 26th.
Okay, so there, if there's some more questions on that, we can get that in there. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And then the last is the Finance Committee Policy and Amendment, and that really is all we have for draft materials.
Finance policy, as you got it, or at least as I got it, is
Yep.
not correct.
That's why it's
Changed from the 1, 2, 3, 4 years.
that's why it's in draft right now.
Okay.
It's a good question, Tom, but that's why it's in draft with the board discussion tonight.
Yep.
I will send the document that has the revision.
Oops, sorry. Let me just get that.
Can I just point out one silly thing on this finance committee thing?
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll find out serious things too, it's okay.
Well, now I just talked to document. What does it mean when it says residents of the town or shall have operate a business?
It's someone that owns that runs a business in the town. So it's
Well, I understand the meaning of it, but I'm just wondering, is it possibly not worded correctly? Residents
Yeah.
of the town
It's very
or
it
shall
can,
have operate a business.
we certainly can clean it up.
Yeah, there's some other areas, Meg, that might need some cleaning up too, so
Okay.
Yep.
I did look at that a little bit further.
Yep.
But that is one, that's a good one.
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to get the top of my paper here. Please stand by. Is there anything for committee reports? Anybody seeking to provide information for committee reports? Okay. The only thing that other thing that I'll contribute then in regards to committees is just as a reminder to do your best to stay in contact with department heads. I did share with them as a reminder that all the committees are retained as they were last year. And in a couple of weeks, also to let you know, Brian Dowling will be here for an executive session to have some conversation as it relates to some of our tertiary things, okay? So I did get that in the hopper, so that's in the docket. I believe it's in 2 weeks time,
Thank you, Michael.
okay? So,
That's
but
the thing we have to do for executive session? Is there something on the docket for executive session?
for today,
Yeah?
there is, but I just wanted to close those out. So with that, I would like to go into an executive session for the purposes of. Oops, hold on for 1 second.
Wendell, could you give me a call when you get a chance?
Sure, Ken.
Okay, thank you.
Regarding the medical, financial credit, or employment history of a particular person, a corporation, or matters leading to said dismissal, removal, promotion, appointment, employment of 3 individuals. So is there a motion to that effect?
Is there any? So moved.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna go with Wood, I'm gonna go with Costick. The time we will enter executive session is,
Anything for, any lawsuits or anything?
I have no updates regarding any of that.
Okay, Jim, no, right.
No action on these, right?
No action to be taken, thank you, Barb. So, can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas E. Wood,
Yes.
Meg Bobbin,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, we will enter executive session at 6:30.
So long, Wendell.
Thank you,
Have a
Linda,
good night, guys.
Thank you for attending.
for attending.
Bye, Michael.
Thank you.
Guys, have a good night.
All right, and I'm just gonna stop the recording here, so